Ellen, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this upcoming exhibition, Alluring Visions, and I'm just excited to see your beautiful paintings on the wall.
Thank you.
And I have just a couple questions I want to ask you.
Sounds good.
So, when and why did you start painting?
Wow. When? Very, very young. I think I knew at a very young age that art would be an important piece in my life, that even in elementary school,
Really?
I was painting and drawing. So, yeah,
Wow.
very, very early on. I didn't really start painting more seriously until I was in college.
Okay.
I went to art school, Mass College of Art.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Okay.
and from then on, really never stopped.
Was there somebody in your life that inspired you? Did you come from artists?
I had an aunt, my mother's sister, who was a painter. So she was definitely a mentor for me.
Nice.
I used to go to her home when I was, quite young and watch her set up her easel in her living room and paint alongside her. So she was definitely an influence. But both my parents really nurtured my interest in art at a young age, which was helpful.
Yeah, that's amazing. You don't often see that,
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
you're encouraged maybe to go ahead and do your art on the side, right?
Yes, yes, that's very true. And my parents never discouraged me from an art career. They never said, "How are you going to make a living doing that?" I
Wow.
think they could tell how important it was to me, so they encouraged it. They were, big fans.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when you're painting, what is it that is going on in your mind, or how does it make you feel when you're painting?
Boy, that's a tough one. I think it's different every time I'm about to create. You hear the expression all the time, being in the zone, and it doesn't happen every time, but when it does, there's no better place to be. It's like a high when everything is clicking, and I almost am not even aware of what I'm doing. It's very intuitive, and it's just a rush. It's a wonderful feeling when that happens.
Wow.
And there are struggles, of course, and there are days when I'm feeling blocked or I'm not feeling that desire to create. So I might do other things in my studio. I might paint edges or do business or marketing. But I know it's always going to come back. So I think when I was younger and I had painting blocks, it was more of a challenge, but I know now that they're just part of the process, so it doesn't discourage me. And every time I stand in front of a new canvas, I know something good will happen.
Wow.
Eventually.
Do you have a plan when you start a painting?
Never have a plan. Never. Again, I'm very process driven, very much an intuitive painter. Even though I'm painting a series, and I've done series for such a long time, they've changed and shifted some. But I tend to start kind of abstractly and then find my interpretation right now of vessels and flowers within the abstraction. I don't want to know the ending. I don't want to predict what the end will be because I wouldn't enjoy the process of the experience as much. So I love that. I love the creative process being kind of unknown. It just makes it more exciting and inspiring for me, and then I'm willing to make changes along the way. It's paint. I can go into it, I can go over it, and until it feels right.
How many times would you say you start over when you have a painting?
Not too many.
No? Okay.
I think, yeah, not many at all, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I begin, and it changes along the way, so it's not really, maybe it's starting over within the process.
Okay.
So I get to a certain place in a painting, and I step back, I think, I look, which is a big part of the process too, and then decide, nope, that's not working, or I want a different color in the background, and I'll go in and kind of start again. And that's what people often ask about the texture in my work. And a lot of it comes from layers and layers and changes and shifts as the painting moves along, which I love.
Yeah, gives it life, I think.
Yes.
Right? When it, with those layers that build, and it also has a lifespan too.
Yeah.
Do you know when you're done with a painting?
I
Or
do.
how do you know when you're done, I guess?
Yeah, and I think that's a very common
Yeah,
question
yeah.
that artists are asked.
Yeah.
I think when I feel that there's really nothing else I can do, there's not another mark or move I can make that will make it more right or better. There are occasions when I'll go back to a painting after I think it's done and maybe make a small change, but that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember reading about some of the master painters who had their works in a museum and ran into the museum before the opening with a paintbrush because they had to do one more thing. So
That's a pretty fascinating. One final question. What advice would you give to an artist that's newly starting, either a young artist that's starting their career, or maybe it's somebody who had a completely different life and has found art later in life?
I think there's sort of two parts to that answer. For me, the most important thing I would tell someone just starting out, again, whether they're younger or older, is to be authentic, is to remain true to who they are as a creator, whatever it is they're doing, to paint for themselves, to not, or create for themselves, whether it's a painter, a potter, photographer, whoever, that you have to listen to you and not think about, will this sell? Or what is a gallery looking for? Because if you start that way, it will affect your work, your process. And I think that's really important. And as far as getting your work out there, if that's something an artist wants to do, you know, there's definitely, I think, a route they have to take, and it starts with maybe just showing work locally, looking for venues or platforms where you can show your work, whether it's a local library, or I've told artists to join art associations, you know, different ways to gain exposure, connect with other artists. I mean, that's how I started. And then it is a process and it's time to build a career. But that's the way to do it.
Makes sense to me. Thank you so much, Ellen. It was so nice talking to you.
Same here.
All right. Can't wait for the opening on June
Either.
4th.
Yeah, I'm
We're
very
going to have
excited.
a good time.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you.